What's up, fiends? Lucard here, along with Patrick from Have Cheetah Review, and we are the Midnight Society. What happened to my glasses in the intro?
I'm telling you, it's the priest. It's Father Thomas.
Oh, it might be. It might be. Oh, T Betty's here.
T Betty in the house.
Hey, T Betty, what's going on? Starting a little early, try to get a few people up in here, see what happens. Yes, Vanessa's here, of course.
Hi, Vanessa. Yep.
Let's see.
Right. Join the bat and the cat. I like that. That's right. We're going someplace today. I got my bag.
You got your bags packed? All right.
Yeah.
I hope you brought some sunscreen because it's kind of hot down there.
Well, you know what? I showed the cheetah. You were watching this earlier, and there's a key scene there where there's a miniature cheetah, and he looked at me and he goes, "You know what? That's about right." And of course, that had been me in there. There wouldn't have been anything left. In that key scene there, the cheetah in action.
There you go.
Yeah. You know what's really cool? I'll tell you what's really fun now that they have listed the subscriber, the hidden account. Now every time I come to your channel, it's always growing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's sort of fun.
How about that?
How does that feel? We're growing.
That's always a good thing.
Hi, YouTube me. Greetings. Glad you're here. Charles.
How's it going?
Bob is a creep. Yeah.
Indeed.
Bob is definitely
We're gonna talk about Bob. Don't worry.
Yeah. Bob was a weird one.
Bob. Yeah. And that actor, I forgot who plays him. Let me get his name, because that guy was in a bunch of stuff.
Well, if I'm not mistaken, I mean, I do believe Fulci. I think there's a lot of directors that do this. I think a lot of well-known directors do this. They once they get a familiar actor or actress that they feel confident using,
yeah,
I see them using them more. And you see them all the time. Using them. Catriona Maccoll. She did a lot of films. She did all three films for Fulci on this trilogy.
Yeah. That's his name right there, Giovanni Ribisi.
Oh,
That's it.
Gio Lombardo. Lombardo. What's it, a horror? Is that a horror film name or is that a Sopranos name?
I must say it doesn't sound Italian at all.
No, not at all.
Not any of it. Nope.
Hi, Dean. How are you? Juice says hi, everybody.
But there are a lot of bodies in this. Bodies, and more bodies.
That's right.
That's the way Fulci rolls.
We should have this show here for the first of the trilogy is sponsored by Excedrin, Aleve, and any other aspirin I can think of.
Pretty much.
And there's Mary Wilson coming in the house, and she will be up with us next Sunday. As we need another co-pilot. We need everybody next week because we're going beyond.
Yeah, Fulci really brings people together.
When did you see when did you see this movie first?
Oh gosh, I was probably about 12 when I saw this originally. From what I remember, because this was the first time I'd watched it in probably about 10 years or so. So I just remember it being gross, like from when I
Yeah.
was a kid, and that still holds up.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. This is not a movie for the light-hearted. Even now, came out in 1980. You think after 42 years it'll be tame and whatnot, but this movie holds up excellent. The
It,
gore is on point.
yeah, it
The
really does.
practical effects are just outstanding.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, and like I said, I saw it in the early '90s. That's initially when I saw it. So
I saw it in the early 80s. I saw this at the drive-through, and it was playing with another Fulci film called Zombie,
nice.
which so there was a triple header. I can't remember what the third movie was, but I do remember it was Zombie, and then The Gates of Hell, and then the other movie I can't remember what it was, but it was a triple header, and we loaded up with just about every snack you could think of. Drove into the drive-in, and it was busy. We snuck in a couple of friends. They got out. We all got in the car, and then we watched four movies all night long.
There you go. You can't beat that.
No, no, not at all, not at all. I do remember. I do remember that The Gates of Hell got played a lot on midnight movies. Uh,
Yes.
yeah,
Yeah.
it was a staple more than anything. Though I did see The Beyond. I did see The Beyond at a midnight showing at the Camera Threes in San Jose. I did go and watch The Beyond. That's where I first saw it, and of course, just like everybody else, come out of the theater going like, "What the hell was that?"
Well, yeah, yeah. Well,
Could
speaking
tell-
of this past Thursday, was the anniversary of the movie.
Oh, really?
Did you know that? Yeah, yeah,
No. I noticed that people have been doing that lately. They've actually been celebrating the fact that when a movie has premiered, like this week, at our friend Anna Marcus. Wow, we're name dropping. Our friend Adam Marcus, who we interviewed here on the show, he posted that it was like, I think it was like, what do you say, 29 years old that his movie came out, the Friday the 13th movie.
uh,
33, I think, 33 years
yeah,
ago.
yeah,
And yeah, it was 33 years ago this past week that Jason Goes to Hell came out, the final Friday.
yeah, yeah. But yeah, August 11th, 1980 is when this movie premiered in Italy. It did not make it stateside until April of 1983. So it took a little bit to come over here.
Right.
Yeah, I thought that was pretty interesting. And another thing we need to talk about is the music in this movie,
Yeah.
by Fabio Frizzi. This is, I think this is one of Frizzi's best soundtracks.
Oh,
Honestly,
definitely,
yeah,
definitely. I like this soundtrack. I thought the soundtrack really moved the movie and elevated it, moved it forward.
yeah.
Which, and then with a couple places it needed that, it delivered. It did get it going.
Oh yeah, for sure, for sure.
Okay, I think that's our buddy Rick. Throw out our password here.
What's going on?
Throw out our password. All right.
But yeah, this movie stars Christopher George as Peter Bell, the journalist. Catriona Maccoll as Mary Woodhouse, the psychic, I guess you could call it, or medium. I guess a medium would be better.
I think what
Um,
really surprised me about Catriona McCraw was
mhm.
she's actually an English actress. I thought she was an Italian actress, but she's actually an English actress.
She is, yeah, she's English, yeah.
Yeah.
But she's in a ton of Italian movies.
Yeah. Well, I think that's like Monica Bellucci. She's an Italian actress, but she does a lot of French films.
Yeah, yeah. Well, it helps when you speak multiple languages too. Let's see. We also have. I don't know how to pronounce her last name properly. I don't know if is it Agron or Agron.
Agrin.
It is
Agrin.
Agron. Janet Agron as Sandra. and Michelle Soavi as Tommy Fisher. I'm gonna talk about him later too.
Yes, he was a bigger name, but we'll talk about that a little bit later.
Yeah.
Uh,
So who in the chat has seen this? Please tell me you've seen this or at least know about this movie. Because we are going to probably do full spoilers, I'm sure.
yeah, it's 42 years old. It's on Tubi, so
It is on Tubi.
it
Yep.
is on Tubi. Yep.
So it is
Uh,
easily available to watch.
I got a shocking statement to say.
Hmm.
I'm looking at the chat right now. Mr. Horror Extreme, Rick. Uh, my wife made me go watch the new Minions flick, and he enjoyed it. Okay, I think our show is done. I think
And
we're all.
good night, folks.
Good night, folks. Have a drive home safely.
There you go.
Of course, Rick can be the only one to stand up in the theater and go like, "Where's all the headless action?" Uh, yeah, I know that I know we're going to be talking about this too. And we need to, but it's really curious because you think of some of the names that come out of Italian horror, and the first two that always jump out at you is Argento and Fulci. Fulci and Argento, one of the two during
Yeah,
this.
pretty much. Pretty much. Yeah.
I I have to see more Argento because I will definitely say I would match up the Beyond with anything that Argento did.
I would say so. Yeah. What I know
But
when I was growing up, I was definitely more of an Argento person.
sure,
But as I've gotten older, I've really come to appreciate Fulci a lot. Um, and now I don't know. I think I might actually like Fulci better.
yeah,
I don't know.
yeah, it's
I don't know.
it's I can understand that.
But I mean,
Um,
early Argento is hard to beat though.
it is.
Like like
I look at
70s Argento is really hard to beat.
Suspiria is absolutely a stone cold classic.
That's probably my third favorite Argento movie. But yeah, it is definitely a classic for sure, and I love it. I watch it all the time. I've seen it probably 20 times.
Um, let's see.
Owned it on VHS, currently on DVD. Just finished rewatch. Awesome, awesome, awesome. My mom liked it more than she thought she would.
Yeah, I think it really helped. I remember. Well, let's get into this because we're gonna get into the story. This this is probably the only part about Fulci that probably struggles for me as far as this movie goes. The story, the gore, and the themes are on point. The shocks are on point. There's several just absolutely gorgeous moments. As far as if you want horror, if you're talking about a horror film, this movie delivers on so many different levels. Um, but the story is going to be one we're going to talk about a little bit because I'd like to get your thoughts about that. But do you want to lead us out into the gates? Oh, I know. I always say the gates of hell, and you always say the city of the living dead.
Yeah, because my copy says City of the Living Dead.
Yeah. Uh, uh, yeah. So that's how they advertise it. That's how they advertise it on Tubi, and then on and that's how it was in Europe. But when they shipped it over here to the United States, they changed the title to the Gates of Hell. So when we saw it, that's how we saw it on the theater.
Yeah, and if anyone's wondering, this is the Blue Underground Blu-ray of City of the Living Dead. I know some people like to know.
Yeah, yeah. Some people like to show off. Share. No. Where did you get your copy at?
Oh God, I got it.
Underground Sub Rosa.
Possibly no.
This, we should actually ask. We should contact Underground Sub Rosa and see if they would sponsor us a movie. Like what movie that that they own that we should cover, and they could be our sponsor.
Hey, there you go.
That would work. Yeah, pay us some Slurpees.
Yep. All right. Let's see. I got the idea that Fulci was making a movie, Argento was making a test for emerging therapy. That's funny. All right, so let's dive in, shall we?
Let's go in.
All right, so we start in the town of Dunwich. Yes, indeed. I have pictures. Wait, let's see.
Now,
All right.
you know what? We should. Is there not a Dunwich in New York?
I have no idea if there is,
I know there's a Dunwich in England.
right?
Okay, I just wanted to know because they couldn't find it, so I was wondering where is this Dunwich at?
Oh, that's like that movie the other day. I fooled with. Yeah, I couldn't remember the name of it, but yeah, they made up the like Series 7, that town, whatever town it
Well,
was. I
yeah,
forgot what it was.
Old Bury or something like that.
From Newberry, something like that.
Yeah, Cadbury. Oh, Cadbury. Oh no, that's chocolate. I'm sorry. Uh,
Ooh, yeah. I'm definitely down for some Cad. Anybody want to donate some Cadbury? I'm down.
see. Oh, H.P. Lovecraft had Dunwich Town. Okay, that's probably where we got the Dunwich. The Dunwich. I think there's a witch. There's a story called the Dunwich Witch. Okay. So go ahead.
Very curious. All right, so we start in Dunwich and we start in a cemetery, and this is the tombstone that we see in the very beginning of the movie. The soul that pines for eternity shall outspan death. You dweller of the twilight void, come Dunwich. Yes.
Yeah.
That is a very weird tombstone.
I'm admiring how freaking neat it looks. I mean, the stoneworker must have been just like, he's almost like he was using, look at the lettering. It's perfect.
Yeah. Yeah. So let's see. All right. So here we meet our lovely friend, Father Thomas. Let's see. Here's a picture of Father Thomas. Of course, that's kind of a menacing picture of Father Thomas, but
That's him in the confessional booth.
yeah. So we meet Father Thomas, and basically he immediately hangs himself.
Yeah.
Like this is the opening of the movie. It's insane. He's there. He's doing the news. Blah blah blah. Boom. He hangs himself. It's like, whoa. All right. Starting off with a doozy here.
But don't worry, he hangs around for the rest of the movie.
Oh yeah. He sure does. Then we cut to New York. Good old New York. And there's a séance happening with a bunch of people, including Mary Woodhouse, played by Catriona Maccoll, the lovely Catriona. Yes. Um, and she is a psychic medium. And she, during this séance, she actually sees Father Thomas hang himself in the town of Dunwich. So she sees she sees she sees that it's in a cemetery. Like she sees it. She sees exactly what the opening credits and all that, like the opening scene, I should say. Um, and she also sees a zombie coming out of a grave, like very slowly, kind of Undertaker style, like just kind of yeah. And then Mary convulses, and then she dies.
That's right.
Our
Drops
main
dead.
character dies 2 minutes into the movie.
Yeah. Drop dead.
It's brilliant. I love it. So now now we cut to the sergeant coming in, and he's asking questions to everybody that was there at the seance and whatnot. And another lady that's there named Madame Teresa, who I guess owns the place they were doing the seance.
Yes.
She claims that the Book of Enoch caused it. And all of a sudden, a fireball erupts, like from the ground, out of nowhere. It goes whoop, but then it sucks back in and it goes down, back into the ground.
It's almost like someone had opened the door and caused a backdraft.
How about that?
Right.
So
That's right.
Indeed, indeed. I thought it was actually a cool little effect.
I did. It did. I mean, it'd be. You
Simple
can't look
enough.
at it too. Yeah, it was all right. It was definitely a nice little trick.
Yeah, yeah. And let's see.
Got the cops all stirred up. They're all like, "What the hell?" Um, the
but
one
but
cop.
Teresa says something funny here. Like she basically, and I am paraphrasing. I didn't write it down exactly, but she's basically like crazy shit's about to go down. That's basically what she says.
Yeah, I mean, you talk about hit the ground running. I mean, you're hitting the ground and you're running like Usain Bolt. I mean, it's like, okay, so like there's absolutely no backstory. It's like you're here, and all of a sudden this woman's saying the world's going to end as we know it now. It's just like, okay, well, I'm in like 3 minutes and 15 seconds into this movie. I haven't had a chance to eat a popcorn or drinking my soda. Can we get a little backstory? Which
Nope.
would have helped out a little bit. It would have been a little bit more interesting to see like how important, like Father Thomas, like why did he hang himself? It's like I would have liked to have known that. It would have been interesting to know, like, or was he like a protector? Was he a guardian of the gate? Did he just get too tired? I mean, it's something to move the story forward. I mean, here we are in the room, and all of a sudden this woman's saying, "Unless you get over there, the whole world's going to end." It was it was a little bit jarring, didn't you think? A little bit story wise.
Yeah, but I guess I'm used to watching all these like foreign movies and stuff, and that doesn't bother me. I guess. And plus, it's kind of like the Michael Myers syndrome. Like you don't know why he's, and I'm just talking the first one. Like you don't know why he's invincible. You don't know why he's killing all these people. You just don't know.
Yeah,
It's sort of that same vibe to me.
yeah,
You know what I
I
mean?
can understand that.
Yeah. So I don't know. I kind of like when they don't explain things because it makes you think about, well, why, or why are they doing that? You know what I mean? I don't know. Sometimes it adds another layer. Sometimes depends on the movie. So now we cut to our friend Bob. Now
Uh,
Bob, man, I don't. Okay, so Bob's our intro to Bob is that he goes into this like rundown house, and he finds a blow up doll. Yes, a blow up doll. And yeah, it's freaking weird, man.
uh, well, blow up doll is used for one thing, and he used it that way.
Yeah, yeah. I know when we were watching it, Vanessa was like, "Oh, wait, what?" And I was like, "Yeah, yeah."
Yeah, could be worse, Vanessa. Could be watching Redwood Annihilation.
or blood claws, yeah. But
Oh no,
yeah.
I'm talking about Redwood Annihilation that has a scene in there that's just like blows your mind. Um,
Okay. Yeah, I have it, but I haven't seen it yet.
yeah, you'll be yeah, you'll know what I'm talking about when you see it.
Yeah.
Uh,
So Bob, yeah, so Bob and the blow up doll, and then at this point he sees a worm infested skeleton.
yes,
So I'm like, all right, so that's some sort of an omen to come, I assume. At this point, let's see.
Charles said that Bob wants to get busy.
Yeah,
Bob the busy builder.
blow up doll isn't exactly normal. Yeah, well, Bob is not normal. So
No,
yeah. So then we cut to Peter Bell, played by Christopher George, and I have a screenshot. There you go, Mr. Christopher George, star of many uh,
mm,
early late '70s, early '80s slasher flicks and Italian flicks, and yeah, he's in Pieces, and he's in all kind of stuff.
he was almost like a regular on the Love Boat and Fantasy Island.
Yeah,
Every other week. You see him all over TV. He did a ton of TV episodes.
that's funny. Yeah, see, I know him mainly from this and pieces. Is mainly what I know what I know him from.
Oh my gosh, I know him from the Rat Patrol.
Oh, okay, gotcha. All right, so let's see. All right, so Bob, so we meet Peter Bell, and uh, we learn that he is a journalist, and he's trying to get into uh, the place where the séance happened. And the policeman there is just not giving in. He's like, nope, you need to go away.
Yeah, that cop was not so nice, was he?
No, but he was doing his job.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've I've definitely had ruder people talk to me. So there you
No, please.
go. So now we cut to a bunch of guys sitting in a bar at the local bar, and they're talking, and suddenly the mirror uh like suddenly breaks. Like it's like boom, boom, just completely breaks. And one of them says, and I thought this, and I don't remember which one of them says it, but one of them says, you forget who our ancestors are." So yeah, so the whole town is haunted or cursed or something. So now we're still in the bar, and a hole rips through one of the walls, and the the two patrons that were in there, like skedaddle. They're like, I ain't dealing with this crap, and they just get up and go. I thought that was pretty funny.
I like the mirror effect. I thought the mirror effect was really cool and whatnot. I mean, they're standing there, they're looking at it, they're like, okay, well, that's some weird shit right there. But the thing that made me laugh though is when the building cracked. It had
Yeah,
like an
yeah,
earthquake,
just like
and none of them were like screaming outside the door. They're all just sitting there looking at it. It's just like, okay, so that's the building that just threw up a major crack from the wall from the ground up to the ceiling. That probably means there's probably a good chance the building's going to fall on your ass.
yeah,
But they're just standing there, they're just looking at that. They're just looking at it, like they're not even really affected by it. That made me laugh a little bit.
That was probably the funniest part in this movie. The very few moments of levity in this movie, by the way.
They played this straight all the way through. There was no tongue in cheek or have you. Um,
No.
yeah, they played it. It's a straight horror film. I don't think Fulci really had a sense of humor when he did his movies. I mean, visually speaking, there was some funny ass shit that maybe he did, but I don't think it was ever intentional. Like, okay,
Yeah.
let's throw that moment in there to make people laugh, or have a moment of respite. I think he put the metal to the pedal to the metal throughout his whole movies.
Yeah. Yeah. I can see that. Yeah. No. There is a funny thing that I will say after we talk about the movie, because it's sort of a behind the scenes thing, um, and that's pretty funny. But and it involves Fulci. But
Oh
so
yeah,
stay
I know.
tuned to find out.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah. So now
I
we
know.
meet another character named Sandra, played by Janet Agron, right there. There you go.
Woohoo, what a babe.
Now she was in a bunch of stuff too. She's been all kind of junk. But she's having a therapy session with a fella named Jerry, and Jerry spelled Gerry in the script, by the way.
Oh,
Good old Jerry. Yep,
little Jerry with a G.
Jerry with the G. That's right. Um, so, uh, so now we have probably the weirdest line in the movie. At least I thought it was the weirdest line in the movie. She basically talks about how she was in love with her father
Oh yeah,
and stuff,
yeah.
and it's bizarre, and yeah, I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah, because Jerry's asking her about why are you always thinking about incest?
Yeah.
And yeah, that was just like, oh,
It's
okay,
like, what?
where are we at?
Yeah. I don't. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Some of the script just does not make much sense because they don't touch on it ever again. Like none of it. Like it's just that one line. That's it. And the cheetah the cheetah agrees.
That's right.
He's like, yeah, that's a weird ass line.
It is weird that line. He wanted me to explain it.
Ah, of course, of course. But her little session gets interrupted by a girl named Emily, who is Jerry's girlfriend. Emily comes in and she's like, "Oh, I have to cancel tonight. You know, they were apparently we're going to go out, et cetera, et cetera." But she has to go meet with Bob. So it's like, oh, okay. Now, at this point, we don't know that the weirdo with the blow up doll is Bob because like this is the first time we're hearing the name. So at first I was like, okay, she's going to meet up with some dude. This is weird. But we actually already met Bob. So it's like, oh, okay, that guy. Uh, so let's see. So Emily says something really interesting here too. She says she doesn't believe that their ancestors were Salem witch burners. So apparently all of this has to do with the Salem witch trials and stuff. So I was like, oh, okay. So that's the correlation here. Um, yeah. So all right. So I love how they just drop bombs and then they just leave in this movie. It happens a couple times. So yeah. So Emily just leaves, and then our hero, the cat,
That's right.
claws Sandra's hand. So now her hands are bleeding.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Yep. Thanks to the kitty. You know.
Right. Lucky that was just a cat instead of a cheetah. Otherwise, she would have been, she would have lost the whole hand.
Indeed. Indeed.
Right.
Oh, we got some more folks up. Hello, everyone joining.
Yep. Mr. Bones and Jim for now
Bones.
Stark in the house.
Yeah, now
Waffles is
Stark.
here. My good friend Heroic Waffles.
Waffles, yes. There we go.
Waffles.
Yep. Oh, Nora's here. Hey, Nora, how's it going?
Yep, the stock Explorer, Nora.
All right. Thanks, everybody, for stopping on in. Appreciate it. Hopefully, you've seen this wacky ass movie, so we can so we don't spoil too much for you.
The Gates of Hell.
So yeah, you want to pick it up from the graveyard?
Yeah. So this is wow. So beginning of the movie, we see that Mary had basically what happened. She had fallen into a deep coma. She was just shocked into a coma. And so, but when they, and this has happened. This is something this has happened before, where someone has been perceived to be dead and they've been brought to the morgue and whatnot, and even as far as to the funeral home, and been find out that they're still alive. So when Mary is fallen, they think that she's dead, so she's being taken to be buried. And we see our good friend, the journalist Peter Bell. He comes over because he's trying to find out some information about her.
Mm-hmm.
And the two grave diggers are not really, a lot of people weren't really too friendly or helpful to Peter. The cops weren't very friendly. The grave diggers were very friendly to Peter. And he was actually a pretty mellow guy. I mean, he was Christopher George, right? Tough guy. You think he would have some witty one-liners, like, or like, oh, I don't care if you don't like it, I'm still gonna look,
Mm-hmm.
But he was very okay. Hey, I don't want no problems. So he's at the gravesite and he's talking to the two grave diggers, and and he's asked for information about where Mary's at. Of course, they don't give it to him, and so he finds it on his own. And he's sitting there and he's writing some notes, and then the grave diggers come up to him and they want to know what's going on. Why is he still hanging around? So he starts beating his feet. And so, the two grave diggers go ahead and start putting Mary into the ground. And inside the coffin, she starts waking up slowly but surely. And what really makes this really intense, it's not that the coffin is totally shut. like in Kill Bill 2, where the bride is totally blocked away, pitch black.
Yeah,
Um,
there's like a little bit of light.
I thought this scene was worse, is because she could still see outside. She could still, like, here she is, she's
There's
alive,
hope, right?
and she
Yeah.
still can see outside. She's actually going to be able to see what's going to happen to her, and so they go ahead and they start burying her, and then I think they have lunch or something, and so they leave, and then Christopher George Peter, he starts walking away too.
Mm-hmm.
And walking away, Mary's becoming more and more conscious, and she realizes that where she's at, she realizes that she's in a coffin, and so she starts screaming and pounding, and Christopher George or Peter is walking away, and this is actually pretty well played. I like this a lot because it wasn't like the first sound that she made had him running over there, doing the hero bit.
Right, right.
They had the wind in play, so he wasn't really sure what he was hearing.
Yeah, he was just
And
like,
so, right, and it was like it added to the suspense because it's like, okay, is he going to hear her in time, or he's just going to walk away?
Yeah.
And so he's walking away, and you hear her, but he can't. And then he catches her cry at the very last minute. I mean, very last minute. And even though they showed the coffin having air vents, which I wonder why, but they still acted like she was hyperventilating. She was hyperventilating because
she's kind of claw out.
So Peter, he dashes on over, and he hears it loud. Hears her cry and hears her hitting the coffin, and he dashes on over there and he grabs a pick that Bones wants to know if you can put the poster up or can you hold the Blu-ray up for the whole duration of the show. Yeah, now you have to hold it there for the whole thing. Yeah, that's it. We should have got puppets. So Peter dashes over there. He grabs the pick and he starts hitting the coffin. And here you are now. Here you are. You're on one hand, you're being threatened with being buried alive, and then two, your rescuer is swinging a pitchfork or a pick that could go right through the coffin and nail your ass. He could put that right in your chest. Hey, Lady Valerie, what's going on? Welcome to the Midnight Society.
Hello.
And so the pick, he's trying though. That's one thing. Again, it's a really smart, really subtle, small gestures, but you don't see him doing the whole macho thing like. He's doing it, but he's doing it very carefully. He's very careful how he's hitting the coffin. And of course, now Mary doesn't know that. All she knows is that it's loud, it's noisy, and the point is coming through. But he has a plan, and he manages to crack open just enough air. That's all he wants. He just wants to put air into the coffin. And so when he finally does, he sees her and she's screaming her head off. And who you can't blame her.
No,
great scene.
Like the whole it's a good little image too of her screaming.
Yeah. I mean, Catriona Maccoll, I mean, hats off to her because Fulci put her through the paces. I mean, I mentioned before. I've mentioned this before about like I like actresses that get their hands dirty. Actors or actors and actresses that get their hands dirty. They're not there to look pretty and call for a stunt double. They want to be in the middle of the action. So that's just an amazing. It's an amazing little. It's an amazing tribute to Catriona Maccoll that she allowed herself to be put in that position, and it works. It totally works.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Very effective.
One of my favorite scenes in the movie, I think.
Oh, mine too. I remember when I was watching this. When at the theater, I remember this part more than any other. Well, there's only the two parts I remembered. One later in the film, and this part here. And I remember this part here, there's four of us watching this movie, and we were all quiet. We were just quiet because it was like it was so spooky
Yeah.
being buried alive, and then he frees her and she's screaming her head off. It was a extremely effective scene and one that was well filmed, well acted too.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. I know they give a lot of crap to these Italian movies for the acting and whatnot. But yeah, this one was pretty solid. Like the acting in this one is pretty good compared to a lot of them, I find. But yeah, Catriona or Katrina, whatever she goes by, I don't know. She's really good in this. Christopher George is really good in this, and a lot of times, yeah, he just kind of phones it in. At least in the stuff I've seen him in. But in
What?
this one, he was
What?
pretty good.
Wait a minute. What have you ever seen Christopher George ever phone in? What?
Have you seen some of the horror movies he's been in?
Yes. Have you ever seen Grizzly?
I have seen Grizzly. Grizzly's awesome. Yeah.
Now, did he phone that in?
No, not at all. Definitely not. Nope.
Man,
But yeah, I thought everybody did really well in it, and of course, it's shot in the way all these Italian movies are. The people that speak English speak English. The people that speak Italian, but it's overdubbed. So it's one of those multinational, crazy movies that everybody just speaks their own language. I think the acting's pretty good in this one. So now we cut to them chatting again about the Book of Enoch, and now Mary's fine. She's sitting there like nothing ever happened.
yeah, and flirting already with Peter.
Yeah, like it's like, okay, you were just buried alive. You think you'd be more, I don't know, more tense maybe, or I don't know. Yeah, just a small quibble there, but that's whatever. So we learned that the Book of Enoch is 4,000 years old, and this is the quote from Teresa. She says it's man's first recorded description of his boundless mortal fear in the face of malice itself, a demanding, implacable enemy whose search for blood is never satiated. Yeah, and that's some crazy writing right there, isn't it?
Yeah, that's almost Stephen King like.
Almost. So all right, so this book's the real deal. This book's not BSing around.
That's right.
So now Mary talks about basically the vision she saw at the seance that everyone thought she died from, but she says she saw the city of the dead. So almost a title drop, almost. She calls it a cursed city where the gates of hell are opened, and it's called Dunwich. So the place is called Dunwich. And we learn that they must return and close the gates before All Saints' Day, or the dead will walk the earth.
That All Saints' Day is Halloween.
Well, All Saints' Day is November 1st, day after Halloween.
I thought it was the Halloween itself.
Mm-mm. No, it's the day after. So most of this movie takes place on Halloween, but they never say the word Halloween, not once in this movie.
Not one.
I thought that was interesting. But this is indeed a Halloween movie because it happens on Halloween. Boom. So yeah, you can add this to your Halloween list.
That's right. Yeah, this is like a Halloween movie, much like Die Hard is a Christmas movie.
Exactly. Die Hard is a Christmas movie. Yes, indeed. All right. So now we cut to okay. I was wondering if anybody was going to notice this. Bones noticed it right away. Well, there's no more room in hell. Yeah, it's very similar, isn't it? To George Romero. Indeed. No, I cannot hold it up again, Bones. So now we cut to Emily, and she goes to meet Bob, a good old buddy Bob.
Bob.
And my computer is freezing, so I cannot get to the picture that I want to show everyone. All right, but Emily goes to meet Bob at it's like a gas station mechanic shop place, and she finds him all curled up like on like this bed, and like he's like and being all weird and stuff, like he does.
Yeah.
And actually, wait here's your picture. All right, so on your left, of course, is Bob, and on your right is Emily.
Emily.
So yeah, you can see something's a little off with Bob.
Yeah.
Something, something's not quite right.
What about Bob?
What about Bob? Bob's a freaking weirdo. That's what about Bob.
You know, if you spell Bob backwards, it's Bob.
Yes. Bob is short for Bobbert. So anyway, she goes and checks on Bob, and he just kind of like, ugh, and he kind of throws her down, and then he runs out, and then
No,
our
she
buddy,
she runs after. Remember, he pushes
starts
her,
to
and
run
then he
after.
runs, and then she runs after him, but she falls.
She falls and meets our other good buddy, Father Thomas, who hung himself in the beginning, and he actually attacks Emily.
What?
I know. It's like, wait, what is going on, you undead priest man?
Oh, definitely, Valerie. This is the trilogy is definitely worth watching. The full
Indeed.
trilogy, the Gates of Hell trilogy, definitely worth watching. This is a
Finger
keeper.
bones.
Yeah. Did you just show it up again?
Yeah. Yeah. See, I need it behind me somewhere so we can like just like hang.
You should like tie it. Like you should tie a
Yes,
string on it.
tie it on
You
my
need to like do the Grouch Marks. You know,
fan
every
or
time someone
something.
says the secret word, like the Gates of Hell, and all of a sudden you coming down and says, "Today our secret word is Gates of Hell."
You go, whew. There you go.
Uh, Sorry, Charles. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Right. Oh, don't eat while
Don't
watching.
definitely
Yeah,
don't eat while watching
definitely
this movie.
not.
That is
Definitely not.
that is not that would not be a good idea.
Yeah. This movie is 42, a little over 42 years old, but the gore is on point. This is still not for the lighthearted. Definitely not.
He's actually,
But Father Thomas is there.
yeah,
Uh, and he likes to stare. Did you notice that he just likes to stare at you for a
yeah,
minute.
yes, in a
Uh,
very awkward pose, but with good lighting.
yeah, in an awkward Roman Catholic sort of way, you know. Oh,
Yeah.
what do
Um,
you?
but yeah, so Father Thomas attacks Emily, and there's a bunch of goo and worms involved, and yeah, it's a pretty disgusting little scene. It's not long, but it's there, and you're like, ugh, all right.
Yeah, we have to talk about this again because this is like the first incident where Reese actually, well, actually, I guess the second one, but this is the first one with the gore you see. I mean, there's no stunt actor. This is who she is, and it shows Father Thomas putting this handful of gore, including live worms, all sorts of goo or whatever, and he
Mhm.
puts it over the actress's face, who's playing Emily. He puts
Yep.
it on her face and smothers her with it. But the gore itself, it's practical. It's all practical, and it has living creatures in it.
I-
Yeah.
Indeed. Now, Bones just asked a question if we've seen Nightmare City,
Uh, we have not seen Nightmare City.
but I have.
Oh, oh, wow. Okay.
I have.
Is that another Fulci film?
No, it's Umberto Lenzi.
Okay. But now,
Um,
well, there's another Italian film.
it is another crazy ass Italian movie. That's a really good movie too. Highly recommended if you haven't seen it. um, So yeah, all right. So now we cut to Jerry. He's in his office. This is the therapist guy, and he gets a phone call from Mr. Robbins, who is Emily's father. So
Mhm.
and apparently Emily's father is concerned that she has not shown up home yet. So I was like, oh, all right. So she's missing. Of course, we know what happened. They don't know what happened.
Yeah.
Um, so now we cut to one of the other epic scenes in this movie. We meet Tommy and Rose, and they're making out in a vehicle, like you do back in the day. Do people still do that? I don't know, but anyway,
Park in a car, just I don't
yeah,
know.
yeah. I'm not sure. It's been a long time since I've been in the game, so
Yeah,
quite a
I
long
don't
time.
know it. I don't know. That's a good question.
Yeah. So they're making out, but Rose gets a real uneasy feeling about things,
Hmm.
and so Tommy turns on the headlights, for to kind of say, look, nothing's there, it's fine.
Yep.
Um, and of course, who do we see?
Um, don't tell me. Don't tell me. Let me guess. Father Thomas.
Yeah, you got it. All right, our good buddy Father Thomas. All right, let's see.
I'm
I
always
don't have a
happy.
fancy thing of everything. I have a fancy thing of a lot of things, but not quite everything. So yeah, Father Thomas, but he sees a different thing with Father Thomas. Father Thomas doesn't come attack him. He actually sees uh, the hanging
Hmm.
from the. So I'm like, okay, so this is like a weird specter zombie something. So it's like, okay, so the rules they're to me, this told me that there kind of are no rules. Like there's like this the crazy stuff's gonna happen, and like there's nothing you can do about it. Like that's what this kind of told me. But so yeah, he sees that, and then Rose, poor Rose,
Poor
she
Rose.
innocent little Rose, she's just sitting there, and all of a sudden her eyes start bleeding, like
Mm.
just pouring blood, just all down, and it's
There.
really gross, really gross.
Father Thomas is locking eyes on her.
Yeah, he's like,
So not
you know,
not on the date, not on but just on her.
yeah,
And
just
doesn't
focus right on
attack
her.
them, just stares at her.
Yeah,
And, yeah.
and now her insides start to become outside. That is the easiest way. She starts regurgitating all of her innards,
Yes.
basically. And I do have a picture, so look away for a moment if you don't want to see it.
No, you guys want to see this?
But yeah,
Hell yeah! Look at
that's
that.
that's the beginning of her uh, regurgitating up her insides, if you will.
That is not a model or a figure. That is the real actress.
It is indeed. Um, yeah, yeah. She's a trooper.
Shh. I hope she got paid bonus money for that.
And this scene like goes on for like forever. Like
But it's awesome.
it is awesome. Um, and I almost feel like pulling up Terry Funk here for those that know what I'm talking about. But yeah, it goes on forever and ever and ever, and it just keeps pouring out. Blah, blah, blah. But it's awesome that like the gore here is really good, and it's so plentiful that it's just like wow.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you look at movies even today, which are a lot more, well, supposedly a lot more liberal with gore and whatnot.
Mhm.
But the sound effects, the gore itself, it's on point. I mean, it's so good and it's so well lit, and it isn't just a quick, 5 seconds and cut away. You're right. I mean, we're seeing her whole insides come up, and in fact, the very last the very last one was really cool because it appeared to be like her stomach comes up, like She has nothing left, and she the very last thing she threw up was her stomach.
No.
Everything it was just the only thing that could have probably made it just a little bit more interesting. Not that it wasn't already, but if they would have put her heart up there. But yeah, that was and of course he can't get out of the car. He's sitting there and he's staring at it. He can't help do anything. He can't get out. He wants to get out, but he can't. He's trapped.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
he's
He's just
sitting there watching somebody basically become liquefied in front of him.
Yeah.
Very effective.
But it doesn't end there, because she now there's basically nothing in her now, right? She's the, however,
She's just a zombie.
she gets her hand and she grabs on to the back of Tommy's head and just like squeezes his brain, like literally squeezes his brains out.
Yep.
It's another really cool effect. And it's gross. And then after she pulls away, you literally see a hole in his head. It's a really good effect. It's really cool looking. And it's like, ugh, it really is.
It's a really good effect. And the actress herself, what she did was she had to put the what they had her throw up was tripe. And that was actually they had. I think she had to do it. If I remember this reading this in Fangoria, she had to do that scene like 8 to 12 times so they could get because they had to keep on doing it because the scene was so long. It wasn't just like one little quick scene and that was it. The scene takes a while, so she had to keep doing it over and over and over, and she did it. She did the whole thing by herself. It's one of the most incredible stunts I've ever seen.
Yeah. No, Bones, that's Raro Video, Raro, Raro Video. And then Bones was asking about Terry Funk. Okay, fine. I will say why I said Terry Funk, because I'm sure most of y'all probably didn't get that. Back in Japan, he had an interview after one of his matches, and he kept saying forever, over and over and over again. So anytime something happens over and over and over again, I always think of Terry Funk saying this. Forever! And that goes on for about 2 minutes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. It's just forever.
Was that before or after he got fired from the Double Deuce?
Oh, yeah. I'm not sure. I'm not sure. But yeah, that's the clip.
Forever. That clip
forever. Yeah.
Why is he saying forever for?
Yeah, he's like, oh, I'm a legend. But yeah.
If I can do it, you can do it. Forever.
Forever. That's right.
Maybe he's saying he's like forever young.
If you can change, everybody can change. No. So you got thrown a Rocky IV reference there. Yeah. So so after that crazy ass scene, now Peter and Mary leave for Dunwich. So they're gonna go try to close the gate, basically. It's a very little quick scene. It's just like, all right, so now they're on their way.
Mm-hmm.
So now we cut to
they stopped and got themselves a little combination lock for the gates.
Yeah. So now we cut back to the crime scene of Emily's body, and we see Dr. Joe Thompson. Dr. Joe Thompson is played by Mr. Lucio Fulci. That was his little cameo. He plays the coroner.
Awesome.
Which I think he's played a coroner in a couple of movies too. That's the funny part. But yeah, you see him for 2 seconds, and I was like, oh wait, hey, I think that's Fulci, and I looked it up. Yep, sure was. And so Jerry and Mr. Robbins, which is Emily's father, they seem to think it was Bob, crazy ass Bob, and
Bob
they
gets blamed for everything.
yeah they also see the bloody goo on the ground and the worms and whatnot, and they they don't really react to it though. I thought that was weird. Like they kind of see it and they're like, all right,
Yeah, you would think that they would have been like, "Oh hell no!"
yeah. I mean, it was bizarre, definitely bizarre. Let's see, go back up. All right, yeah, I don't have. Okay, not yet. All right, so now we cut back to Peter and Mary. Yes, their names are Peter and Mary. Coincidence? I don't know. But anyway, apparently 2 years ago, Peter was told he'd meet a girl that was going to be buried alive. This is a weird little conversation in the vehicle.
Hmm.
Like it's yeah, it's I don't know. But so there's all this like premonition stuff happening, and I don't know. It's bizarre.
Yeah, that is like I said, beginning of our dive. The story itself, you know, it has its moments, but it also doesn't have its moments.
Meanwhile, Mary tells Peter she saw a priest hang himself, and that's what opened the gate of hell, and he must be destroyed. That's basically what she says. It's like, all right, well, how are you going to do that?
Yeah, I'd like to know that.
We I guess we'll find out later, because not in this damn scene we won't. So, so now we cut to the funeral home, and Emily's getting prepared, with the for her wake, with the makeup, the mortician's fixing her up and whatnot, and and here we also see another body that's in the same room with her. So like it's weird. They bring in family members, and then they bring in more family members of the other person. Like I don't know if this is how they do it in Italy or whatnot, but it's a little weird.
It's a
Um,
yeah.
yeah,
I think it is an Italian thing.
it probably is, but but the other body is an older lady named Mrs. Holden. So she's like an old lady that died, and everybody knew her. Everybody's like, oh hey, that's Mrs. Holden. I was like, oh yeah, she died yesterday, kind of thing.
Yeah, she made great cookies.
Yeah, she did. And here we also meet another new character named John John. Yeah, John John.
John John.
Kind of like Duran Duran, but it's
Yeah,
John John.
that's right.
And we learned that John John is about, I don't know, I guess he's about what, 9 or 10 or something.
Yeah, I felt that.
And we learned that it's he's Emily's little brother. So like, all right, so he's crying. Jerry kind of walks him out, because he's crying and stuff. It's like, all right. So now we cut back to Bob, our good old buddy Bob, and he returns to the abandoned house with the blow up doll. And again,
Do you think he wanted a second date?
maybe, I don't know. He keeps returning to this house. That never got explained either. I do wish I would have known about that house though.
Yeah.
I don't know why, but I'm like I don't get why he keeps going back to this house.
The only thing I know about the house was by a cemetery. Oh,
But foreshadowing, perhaps.
you said premonition.
But here at the house, Bob sees Father Thomas hanging himself. So everybody's seeing this priest hang himself. So it's not just Mary. So it's like, all right, this is getting like really weird. And so Bob runs out the house, and that's that whole scene. That's
Yeah.
the whole thing.
Lot of loose threads in a way.
Yeah, but and there's a lot of cut back and forth between all these like little scenes. It's like a little 2 minute scene, then another little 2 minute scene, and it's which doesn't bother me when I can keep up with it.
Right.
So now we cut back to the mortician, and he's stealing Emily's necklace that she's wearing. Now everybody's gone. It's just him and the two bodies. So he steals Emily's necklace. Then he goes over to Mrs. Holden, and he tries to steal something we don't see. We only see his face, but he reaches his hand in, and his hand gets attacked.
He gets cheated.
Yeah. So his hand's all bloody. ah, and then it cuts to a different scene.
Yeah. When he comes up, it looks like a cheetah grabbed it. Like
It did. It did.
it,
That's
it,
exactly.
really,
That's
it did.
exactly
It
what it
looked
looked
like
like.
it looked like a total. I mean, it didn't show it like that, but I mean, if that was a bite mark, that's a hell of a bite.
It is because his hands all like mangled and shit.
He threw.
It's pretty gross looking. So now we cut to John, and he's back at home and he's sitting on the bed, and there's a rocking chair, and the rocker is there's nobody in the rocking chair, but the rocking chair is going back and forth.
And he never notices it.
He doesn't, but the rocker is just
Yeah.
rocking and rolling. Yeah. Um, and but he does notice something else.
What was that?
He notices
Holy,
Emily, dead
holy,
Emily, which is what I call her from now on is dead Emily.
dead Emily.
Yeah.
Huh.
So she's like hanging out outside,
Hanging.
and and she's like, he's like, oh, I see her in the window. So he runs to the parents, and he's like, I'm afraid Emily's gonna catch me. Blah blah blah. Like, Emily's dead, kid. Like okay. Like it's and but yeah, so he's seeing, like I said, I call her dead Emily at this
Dead.
point. Yeah. But so it's like, all right, so now she's coming back too. All right. So now we cut to Sandra's house. Now we're back on Sandra, um, played by Janet Agron.
Maybe she show.
Right?
Yeah, they show her again.
Yeah.
Her babe.
And so she's sitting there painting because that's I guess that's what she does. She's painting like this giant rhino head. And whoever did it though did a really good job. Like it looked good.
I like to think it was Janet.
It may have been, who knows. But she suddenly hears a bang while she's while she's doing the painting.
Probably Bob.
Could have been Bob. But then so then it cuts to Jerry at his office and his phone rings and it is Sandra. And she's like, I'm having a nervous breakdown. I need your help, kind of thing. She calls him all frantic and freaking out, and he's like, "All right, I'll be on the way." And so he leaves to come see her and see what's going on. And yeah, he go on. All right. So he leaves to come see her. And then we cut back to Bob, and he's hanging out at the mechanic place, mechanic / gas station. I don't know what to call those because where I live we don't really have those. So, but so we just see that he's hanging out there. Like that's the whole scene. And now we cut back to Jerry arriving at Sandra's house. And this is a nice little house. Now they shot this in Georgia, I believe. Let's see where in Savannah, Georgia. Yeah. This is a nice little house. Savannah's a really nice place. I don't know if you've been there or seen pictures, but Savannah's really really a nice little town.
I just got done talking about it last week. I was talking about the Savannah vampire.
Ah.
Remember? Maybe you didn't. Yeah, I think I mentioned it. No, maybe I didn't. I did it in my book review. There's a Savannah vampire. It had bats in it.
There you go. Everything's better with bats.
And cats.
And cats, yes.
Yeah, I have to go back. Why? Look, they had a picture. They had a scene of a cat. How come they didn't have any bats in that coffin when Mary was being buried alive? I thought all bats. Every time you open a coffin, bats always fly out of it.
Right? Yeah. Fulci, you messed up, bro.
Yeah. CGI some bats into that.
Yeah. Just George Lucas that thing. Just with the bats coming out. Sorry.
Yeah.
Nobody will care.
The 10th special director's cut edition.
Ultimate director's edition.
Ultimate.
Edition. There you go. Bam. All right, so Jerry arrives at Sandra's house. Now Sandra opens the door with a handgun in her hand, and she opens the door and she basically asks Jerry if she's crazy. she's like, tell me the truth. Am I insane? Like kind of thing. And Jerry's like, no, you're fine, kind of thing. So then Jerry goes into the kitchen and he finds our lovely friend, Mrs. Holden, the old lady from the coffin.
That's right.
And she's just kind of laying there on the kitchen floor, all dead,
Yeah, just just chilling.
just chilling. It's pretty funny. And so we learned that Sandra heard a bang, which is what happened. That's when the scene kind of cut. Um, and then all of a sudden, Mrs. Holden was there in the kitchen, laying there dead. It's like,
That's
all
right.
right. So that's what the bang was.
Yeah, the only
Um,
thing I didn't like about this scene, though, the only thing I didn't like about this scene was the actress who played Mrs. Holden.
mhm.
I thought her acting was a little stiff during this scene.
just just a little.
Okay, that's
So
enough. That's enough.
so, so Jerry plans to call the cops, but all of a sudden they hear a real loud growl, like a "Arr" type of thing. And now they go back into the kitchen, and our good buddy Mrs. Holden has disappeared. Yeah,
Teleported out of there.
she did. But then they hear a bunch of clattering and noise and stuff coming up from the second floor. And so Jerry's like determined to find out what's going on here, and he's like, I'm gonna find out. Let's see, blah blah blah.
Yeah,
Um,
that would be my first reaction too. I'm going to come in there, see a dead woman that died the day before. I saw her at the mortuary. I see her there on the floor of my patient's house, and then I come back and she's gone. And my first reaction is, I need to find out what's going on.
yeah, it's like I said, the script is weird, but that's kind of Fulci though. That's
Yeah,
that's the way Fulci movies are. Which
that's
he did help co-write the movie as well. So this is a full-on Fulci creation, if you will.
Mr. Dan in horror. Welcome, sir.
Hello, hello.
Hello,
How's it
hello.
going?
We're talking the gates of hell.
AKA City of the Living Dead. Bones loves it when I keep doing this, so I'm just keeping it. So all right, so now they get up to leave, and the film camera goes, and it cuts to a pair of feet that is standing behind this like partition that's in the room, and the feet are like they're kind of dirty,
Mm-hmm.
like they kind of like they walked out of a grave.
Ooh, good observation.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Uh, but as they're walking away, a window suddenly burst into pieces, and the shards fly at one of the walls of the house, and it go. It's pretty. This is a pretty cool effect, and it goes and they're sticking out of the wall, and then all of a sudden the wall starts bleeding, like from all the shards of glass. And I thought that was a really cool little scene too. You know what I mean? You know what I mean?
Definitely. I thought that was good. Yeah, it was interesting how, because I expect, when you saw that glass like that, the one thing you expected when you expected it to pan back and to see either see Emily or Jerry, you expected them to be like lit up with glass, but the whole glass just missed them. They're standing right there and it
Yeah,
missed
just went
them.
like right past them.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that was interesting.
it was, but it's a cool effect though, because when it does it and it starts bleeding, you're like, oh, okay, this is not safe. Yeah, can't
That's
see me.
right.
Can't see. So yeah, there's so many cool visual moments in this movie that it really kind of supersedes everything else. Does that
Yeah,
make sense?
this movie is so much fun to look at.
Yeah, this is definitely a visual movie. Um, Kind of what they're saying almost kind of doesn't matter in, in a lot of these scenes.
Yeah.
But what is. So now we cut to Peter and Mary at the cemetery. No, no, I'm sorry. They're not a cemetery. They're at a church, and
Yeah, that's where they meet Jerry and Emily.
they're talking. Yeah, they're talking to the priest at the church, and the priest says that Dunwich was built on the ruins of the original Salem. So all right, so we're dealing with Salem. That's what we're dealing with. And he says Salem is the village of witches, heresy, and evil. And he makes sure to say evil, kind of like that.
Evil.
And but Christopher George has a really great line here. After he says all that, he's like, Dunwich is evil, blah blah blah. Don't go there. Christopher George's like, oh, that's great. Now, can you tell us how to get there? Yeah, it was great, and the way he delivered it though was really was spot on. I thought. Yeah.
That's right.
So now we come upon another iconic scene. There's so many iconic scenes in this movie. It's hard not to say that word. But
are we talking about Bob again?
Now we're back to Bob. All right. So this girl named Anne comes in to the mechanic shop, and she's going. She has her stash up in there. So she goes and gets her stuff.
I thought that was Emily's sister.
I don't. Does she have a sister? This is the only scene she's in, and she's only in it for 2 seconds. So I don't know. But it may be. I'm not sure. They didn't. I don't know. I know she has a little brother. That's all I know. No.
Charles says that little Anne doesn't seem so innocent. No, she doesn't.
She does not. So she goes, but she sees Bob sleeping in the car, and so she goes and like wakes up Bob, and she's like, "Hey Bob, you want to smoke with me?" Blah blah blah, and then her dad comes in. So yeah, so this is not Emily's sister. Her dad comes in. Her dad is one of the fellas that's from the bar from earlier. Yeah, so he comes in and he attacks Bob, and he's calling Bob a pervert and a murderer. So yeah, so everybody's blaming Bob for Emily's death. So he goes after him. And then we come to Bob's demise.
Oh yeah.
And
this is like one of the most iconic scenes in a horror, even Italian horror, American horror. This picture has been seen so many times in so many ways.
yeah.
Yeah. It landed the movie on the UK's Video Nasties. And this is and in Germany as well. This is the scene that landed the movie on the ban list.
Yep. And as you can see in the picture, there's a drill involved. And so the dad basically pushes the drill through Bob's cheeks, like right here, and just goes completely through. And it's again really cool effect here, and it's it's definitely one of the most memorable images of the movie for sure. So Bob, our good friend Bob is no longer. I know everyone's upset about that.
Yeah, Charles mentions this. That was put on the cover on Fangoria, and I bought that issue. Because of that cover.
Nice.
Gio says that he drilled his part.
Hold on. Indeed. Hey Westwood, how's it going, buddy? All right.
Case of Hell is awesome.
I mean, yeah, this movie's so this movie's way better than I remember it being. Like every time I watch it, I like it more. Like I don't know, like there's something, and it's all the entire movie's like weird and creepy and eerie, and yeah, it's just a good time. If you like that sort of thing, this is the way to go. Awesome movie.
And Sandra's a babe.
There's a couple of babes in this movie, but yeah. So if you're into that, There you go. So now we cut to Jerry and Sandra, and they go to the funeral home, but they don't get an answer. Nobody's there at the funeral home, or
Yeah.
so we think.
Yeah, because they pan the room, and we see all the coffins are all gone. They're all empty.
Yeah, but we also see someone in the window. So
Who,
somebody's there.
who's that?
I don't know. Hmm.
Hmm,
Possibly a body. I don't know.
okay.
Quite possibly. Um. So yeah. So now we cut to uh, Peter and Mary. That's Catriona and Christopher George. They find the cemetery finally,
Finally.
and they find the tombstone.
Finally.
That I showed earlier, and what is the deal with this computer today? This one. If come on, there you go. So
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
so they finally find the this tombstone, and
Look how neat that writing is, man. I mean, I write. That's better than my writing today.
yeah, same. mine's a bunch of scribble scratch.
Yeah.
Scribble scratch. See, there you go. So yeah, so now they're like, all right, so now we have to find Father Thomas's grave. It's like, all right, fine, and then I think they say something like they have to bury him properly or something. I think that's what I call it. Them saying they have to bury him properly.
Right.
So while they're there, they run into Jerry, the therapist guy, and they kind of have a little chat, and they end up back at Jerry's office, and lo and behold, of course, Sandra is there as well, because
That's right.
he brought Sandra. Now,
Well,
why was
can
Jerry
you
in the
can
cemetery?
you can you blame him?
Well, no, but I don't understand why Jerry was even in the cemetery to begin
I
with.
I just know that they're back at the office. They're talking, and then John comes dashing up, and he comes up there, and he tells them that Emily has come back, and she has killed she has killed both the parents, and then John has run to Jerry to has run to Emily. Did they go back to Jerry's office or Emily's? Yeah, they went back to Jerry's office. So he ran to
Yeah,
Jerry's office. I'd like to know how he knew about Jerry's office, but that's for another,
yeah,
but he ran
but
over.
but right before all that, another scene happens at the office. The four our four main characters, I guess you could say, all get attacked by a swarm of maggots. Yes, a
Was that
swarm.
before John? Okay, yeah, I
Yeah,
guess it
yeah.
was.
According to my notes. Yeah.
Oh,
Um.
yeah.
So yeah. So these maggots are like flying around. They're not. They're not just crawling around. No, no, no. There's like a giant swarm of maggots flying around, and they attack all four of them. And to me, this is the grossest part in the whole movie because I hate maggots. Yeah, it makes me uncomfortable. And yeah,
These are real maggots too. These are
these are yes,
Fulci.
these are real maggots, and it's super duper gross.
Yeah,
And
especially how they did it.
yeah, so the so what they did was in reality they actually glued maggots to the actors' faces, and they
Well, that's a reaction we don't see over at the Zone very often from Valerie.
mm, man, I agree 100%. It is totally gross, and it is oh man, yeah.
I think we managed to shock the general here. Don't worry, Valerie. When we saw this too, yeah, yeah, this is an iconic scene right here.
Yeah,
Definitely.
and definitely somebody had some fun flinging some maggots at people. Yeah, they I guess they used the giant fans and stuff because it was
Yeah, they used 16 pounds of maggots.
Yeah.
16 pounds. They got 16 pounds of maggots, and they basically like put them on a hose and blew them at the actors. And those were all real maggots, not one stunt, not one stunt. Um,
Mhm.
yeah, that was one I remember that part too, that they used the real maggots, which was insane. I hadn't heard anything like that since the Swarm, where Irwin Allen had done that. He'd used like a 20 or 30,000 bees, live bee
Mm.
shots.
And
So
yes,
yeah,
and this scene does go on for a while too.
oh
Yes, it does.
yes, I
Indeed.
can't even honest to heaven, I cannot imagine. I can't imagine any actor. Well, except for maybe Jared Leto. I can't imagine any actor that would actually sit there and go through something like that.
No, nowadays definitely not. No, no. Well, they'd ruin it anyway. It'd all be CG and look like crap. So there you go. But yeah, so the maggot scene happens, and then while all the maggots are flying around, the phone rings. So he has to like wipe off. He has to wipe off the maggots off the phone because the maggots are everywhere. They're on the ground. They're on the desk, the telephone, everything.
No, and no, the phone wasn't black either.
No, no.
So,
And then Jerry answers it, and it's John John. That's where it's John John, and he says Emily just killed her parents. So the four of them leave, and they go. I guess they swap off all the maggots, and and they go to Emily's house or John John's house, whatever you want to say. And so John John says Emily's basically he's like Emily's dead, and she's eating. She ate my parents.
she's
Oh,
hungry.
she's hungry. When you die, you get a little hungry. You know what I'm saying?
More brains. Oh,
Yeah,
wrong
yeah.
movie.
So, so Sandra ends up taking John John back to the studio apartment,
Right.
and so Jerry, Peter, and Mary go back to the funeral home, and they just kind of walk in. They don't knock this time. They kind of just walk in, and we see a handprint on the carpet. So somebody's a crawling.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like,
Oh,
all right, so that's
could be a maggot.
that was a pretty big damn maggot then.
No,
Um,
I've known a few maggots.
yeah,
Yeah.
Dave. Ah.
Uh, oh,
There you go. Shout out to Dave. Shout out to Dave.
shout out to Dave.
Um, so now, yeah, Sandra and John John go back to the apartment. Um, Now zombie Emily uh is there when they arrive. She's hiding under the steps up going up to the front door. Um, so zombie Emily here actually tears Sandra's head open here,
Man, I
and
was
and
so
and does the infamous head squeeze, and so does that onto Sandra. So Sandra's now not alive anymore. And John John runs away, but he gets attacked by zombie Tommy. Now Tommy is the one that was making out with the girl with the intestines coming
that's
out.
right.
That's
Yeah,
Tommy.
he got his brain crushed too.
Yeah. But so Tommy is played by Michelle Say- Sayovi. I don't know. I don't know how to pronounce any of these names. Sorry, folks.
Yeah, sorry.
Sorry, guys. Yeah, I don't speak Italian. I don't. Yeah, but
I only know I
anyway,
only know I only know one word of Italian. That's lasagna.
what are you, Heathcliff or Garfield? No, Garfield, right?
Garfield. Garfield.
Yeah. Um. So the Michelle Soavi is now known as another Italian horror director. He did Stage Fright. He did quite a few movies in the late '80s, early '90s era of the Italian horror boom. So he was kind of toward the end, but But yeah, so he actually did this kind of to gain experience.
Well, he was actually cast in a larger role, but they were going to keep him as Bob. They're going to have him as Bob, but then Fulci changed his mind and cast the original character as Bob and gave Michelle, that's how it's pronounced, gave him the role of Tommy. Yeah, but he originally was supposed to play Bob.
Interesting. Okay. Okay. Yeah, and he is an actor as well, as you can see. And I think he does appear in his own movies sometimes, but not in a big role, like on a little cameo, kind of like Fulci does. Um. So yeah. So John John runs away. He gets attacked by Zombie Tommy, but he escapes all that, and then John John sees dead Emily
Again.
again, and she's like coming after him. But then Jerry appears, and he's like, oh, go, go over here, blah blah blah, and he kind of looks at Emily. He kind of closes his eyes real tight and opens them, and Emily's gone. So these are like weird ghost zombies.
It seemed to be a little bit more about. It seemed that they did definitely teleport it, because
Oh
it
yeah,
seemed like when Father Thomas popped up in front of Emily and Tommy in the car, he popped up. We saw him there, and then when they turned off the light, the headlights, they turned it back on, and then you saw the rope, and then next thing you know, he's gone, and then he's there on the side of the car. It seemed to be, and there's another scene that sort of same thing happens, and coming up, where it's like they're there 1 second and then they teleport. And they're actually able to be in two places at once. But we'll get to that in a minute.
yeah, yeah. So now we cut to Jerry, Peter, and Mary. They go back to the cemetery.
They would have
Um,
named them Peter, Paul, and Mary. That would have been awesome.
yeah. That definitely was a missed opportunity. But now we cut back to the bar one more time, and this is where we learn that they're listening to the. Uh, I think they're listening to the radio,
Yeah,
and
the
they
bar that's been that was almost broken in half, but
yeah,
they're still there.
they are still there because some of these bar patrons, they just don't leave.
Yeah, the building has full electricity, has full power, and yet you have a massive crack in the wall.
Massive crack in the entire wall, like the whole thing. Yeah. But they learn that the town of Dunwich is now basically going into lockdown, and so the barkeep's like, all right, I'm taking my money and I'm getting the hell out of here, kind of thing. And now we cut because yeah, we never see a whole scene. It always cuts like in the middle, and we come back to it later. So we are going to come back. So now we cut back to the cemetery. With the I guess our now three leads, because the fourth one is now dead. Uh, they hear a ruckus at the cemetery, and now we cut back to the bar again. And at the bar, they now all get attacked by all the dead people that have died so far, like Tommy, Emily, all of them. They all show up at the bar and they all kill the barkeep and the two bar patrons that are there.
Right.
And
Maybe
now
maybe they're just thirsty.
they something I guess they're hungry because Emily's appetite is insatiable apparently. So
Wow. And Tom, poor this feel. You gotta feel bad for Tommy.
yeah, right.
Right?
So now we cut back to the graveyard again, and they finally find the Thomas family tomb. And so they open it. They don't really have a too much of a problem opening this thing.
No. Nor do they have a plan on what to do once they get in there.
Well, they don't because they don't know what's in there. They don't know what to expect. So I mean, but yeah. Oh yeah, and Zombie Bob as well is there. Indeed, indeed. Like I said, all the dead people are coming back and killing and causing a ruckus and teleporting everywhere, and it's you know makes perfect sense. But anyway, so so they open the tomb, and it's it's one of these like giant ones that are on the ground. So they open the tomb, they look down, and instead of it being bodies, it's they actually have to go down into it. So they all climb down, and they find his tombstone on the wall, and so they get some tools and they crack it open and see what's in there, and of course there's nothing in there, but it's a giant hole and it leads to something. So it's like, all right, we got to keep going. So they kind of hop in, and it's like, all right, where is this thing is going? They keep just going further and further underground. It's really interesting. So let's see. So now we return to the bar one more time, and the owner and the patrons, they're all dead, and this is when we actually end up seeing Zombie Bob.
That's right.
And our good friends are here. Our good friends, the bots, are here.
Oh, oh, this is a new one.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I haven't seen that one yet. Yeah.
It's a new one. Okay.
Hello, Nude HD. Thanks for stopping by.
Maybe they heard us talking about Bob and they wanted to offer him our date.
Bam! You nailed it. You nailed it. So all right. So now we're pretty much with them the rest of the time at the graveyard. Well, I guess in the tomb, I guess you could say. But at this point, Mary keeps getting attacked by rats. I thought that was interesting. And these are real live rats. This is not animatronics or nothing like that. This is like they're throwing rats on this poor lady.
Yeah, she was a real trooper.
She really is, man. She
really is. I mean, for what they asked her to do, I mean, you couldn't even think about asking an actress to do that today.
No.
I can't even imagine. I cannot imagine any not even any screen queen. I can't even imagine having them do what these folks did in this movie.
Yeah.
Just insane.
So they just keep going. They just keep going further and further down, and all of a sudden, Zombie Sandra shows up, and
it looked good for a zombie.
She did look good. Did you notice she had the least amount of crazy makeup on?
Yeah, the lighting was beautiful too. The lighting they used when she came up, I mean, it was gorgeous.
Yeah, it was the lighting in this movie was actually pretty impressive. For being, you see, you can't really compare Fulci and Argento in a lot of ways because a lot of their stuff, like Argento, was very, very into cinematography and very into that. Fulci was not, but Fulci in this movie, he actually did use colors and stuff to convey image, convey messages and whatnot.
Anyway. Charles is right. Prettiest zombie ever. Now, I honestly, that's true. I mean, because when you're dead, you're dead. I mean, look at Emily. Emily looked like she got ran over by a truck 20 times, and Sandra pops up there, and she looks like she's ready to walk the catwalk.
Yeah. Yep. There you go. Zombie pinup girls. Yeah, pretty much. But Zombie Sandra shows up and she squeezes Peter's brain. So Christopher George now has a big giant hunk in his head.
Now that's what I was gonna say. That's if you go back to that scene, we see her and they're talking to her, and then as they're talking to her, she comes. Her figure's still there, and yet she's able to go behind Christopher George.
Yeah.
And kill him. But she's still there because they show her afterwards that she's still in the same little hallway. It's almost like she split into two different zombies. And they killed Christopher George. I was surprised when I saw this at the theater because he got top billing.
Yeah.
You know, like, well, it's probably one of the first times. You know, it's probably one of the first times I remember seeing, because up to that point I had only seen like Jaws, you know, where they had Robert Shaw die, and then in Grizzly they had some of the supporting guys die too. But this is like the first time where Christopher George, he was the leading actor, that he was like, you know, he was the big, supposedly the big star, the attraction, and it was the first time I've ever seen a leading actor die in a movie.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
died
Yeah.
terribly.
Yeah, this was definitely kind of a shock, because he doesn't die very much in movies.
No, not really. Not at least he's in a John Wayne movie. But no. Yeah, and yeah, he sold it too. I mean, it
Oh
wasn't
yeah,
just one of those. It wasn't just one of those. Okay, we're gonna go in there. We're gonna show her hand going into your head, and then we're gonna do a cutaway. You know, he stood there and he had to do his scene as well. You know, and he sold it. Here he is. He feels this girl's hand in her head, in his head, and his look on his face looks like he is absolutely 100% in pain.
yeah, yeah,
It
definitely.
was a good scene.
It is. It is. And then, but after she squeezes his brains out, we see the rats eating off of the brain.
Yeah,
Yeah. So nice little extra there.
yeah.
Uh,
That was pretty interesting. Showing the rats eat his brains.
so now Mary's eyes start bleeding. Here you go. See, as you can see, her eyes start bleeding. And of course, she's with Jerry. That's Jerry, the therapist
Sandra's
guy.
boyfriend. Yeah,
Yeah. Um. So Jerry grabs a spike and he impales Sandra, and the this effect was cool too because the wound kind of like gurgles and pulses and it's all kind of craziness.
that's right.
um, and but if you notice though, Jerry doesn't do anything in this movie with a sense of urgency.
No,
Like
he's
nothing.
slow, isn't he?
He's the slowest dude ever. Like it's insane. Like like so all this crazy shit's happening, right? All the zombies, blah blah, and he's just like,
Yeah, like
it's like,
uh,
dude, put a little pep in your
yeah,
step,
put
man.
urgency into it.
Drink
Well,
some
maybe he was in
coffee.
shock. Maybe he's
Something.
in shock that his girlfriend just got done killing the hero.
Yeah, and
But
it's like
she looked good doing it.
she did, but of course he had to kill her. So
I don't know why. You know what? For once, I was actually rooting for the zombie in that case.
I can see that. I can see that.
Right.
So yeah, all right. So now Jerry and Mary keep walking further in. Um, and now they basically find the big. There's the big reveal of the underground tomb, and
That's right.
there's skeletons hanging it's hanging from the ceiling, and like there's skeletons everywhere and dirt and nobody's been down here for like ever, so it's all nasty and
Right.
decrepit looking,
Just
and
hanging up,
really
chilling.
cool set, by the way. Yeah. Um, let's see where am I at. So and like and now bodies start to rise because guess what? It's
It's
All
all.
Saints Day. They didn't make it.
Yeah, they didn't make it. They were late by 2 hours.
Yeah. So all the dead start coming back. They could they all come out of the ground and it's kind of like Michael Jackson's Thriller. They kind of just keep
Yeah.
all keep
Right.
popping up
That's right.
and so Mary's eyes start bleeding again. Like I was like, wait, why did they stop bleeding? And because I don't know, but anyway, they end up start bleeding again, and then um, all of a sudden, like all the zombies are surrounding Jerry and Mary. Jerry and Mary. Yeah. Yep, Jerry and Mary. And all of a sudden, Father Thomas appears again. Yay, Father Thomas!
All right.
So this is the
Last minute
SOB
redemption.
that they're looking for. So uh, Jerry uses a spike again to impale Father Thomas, and now something really weird happens. You know, it's a Fulci movie. Of course, something weird's going to happen. Yeah. Uh, but Father Thomas starts burning. Like obviously, like his body starts burning.
No, they must use the silver. They must use the silver spike or something, or it was garlic. Maybe Father Thomas was a bat.
Maybe, or maybe he's a vampire or something. I don't know. Yeah, maybe so. Because something ends up happening in a minute. We're going to talk about. But so he starts burning, and then all of the other zombies that are walking around, and they all burst into flames as well.
Ooh.
Yeah. So there is this big long like fire scene. Everybody's on fire.
Oh, Charles
You know,
says that they used a cross.
I think it was a piece of a cross. Yeah, I think
Yeah.
it was.
So there probably was some vampire and bat action into it.
Yeah. So who knows? See the vampire zombies, teleporters,
Teleporting zombies.
teleporting and projection and everything. They can do it all. Squeeze heads. You know.
Yeah, that's right. And still look
But
good doing it. Something.
but after they burn, after everything burns, uh, they basically disappear. Kind of like Buffy the Vampire Slayer when vampires get staked and they disappear.
Yep.
That's kind of what happens here after they all burn. So now we see John, and he's with a bunch of cops, and they're actually going to the cemetery now. And Mary and Jerry are climbing out of the tomb,
Mm-hmm.
and they see John. Or John sees them and like, oh Mary, oh Jerry, oh, and so John starts running at him, and then all of a sudden Mary reacts like she sees something else. At least that's what I got out of it.
Yeah, that ending. We talked about that before pre-show. That ending, it was weird, was because the ending originally was supposed to be a happy ending. That's how it was filmed. John sees Jerry and Mary, and and runs to him, calling out their name. They see him, they smile at him, and it's going to be a happy ending. But they said that Fulci wanted to change it, but they, some of the film they had shot was lost. So they only could cobble apart what they had, and that's the best they could cobble together. The ending does not fit. It's like
it's the weakest part of the movie. It is.
It's the last 2 minutes of the movie, so it's not going to take it away. But you could definitely see where it's not a scary ending or a sad ending at all. You can see that it was intentionally written and filmed as a happy ending, and and it's a little weird. I think if they really wanted to make the movie, more pop for as far as a happy ending, they would have showed Sandra coming back completely healed. But that's just me. Yeah, but the ending does not make sense at all. So if you do watch it, just remember that the ending was originally supposed to be a upbeat, happy ending.
But instead, she sees I don't know what she sees, but she screams as John is running. We see John running toward him, and she screams, and then the film freezes, and then the screen starts breaking like this. That's John, and the screen starts breaking, and it fades to black, and that is exactly how it ends.
You know what? I think to me, I'm okay with either way. I mean, obviously, since he filmed it as an upbeat ending, I wish he would have went with an upbeat ending. But if he had filmed it with the intent of a bad ending, like like a sad ending or whatnot, I mean, like, if they would have just, to me, I think what they should have done, if anything, is they should have showed the cops and John get out of the car and stop and let Jerry and Mary walk toward them. Let them walk toward them, reading their faces, not having John or the cops say anything, and showing them come to them. I think it would have been a much more effective ending, because then you would have known for sure that they've been turned and that they had been too late in stopping Father Thomas. But at the same time, it's like the ending is like, okay, you stop Father Thomas, but I don't think 2 hours would have initiated the end of the world. I think it would have. I think, especially since they all died when Father Thomas died, so they're all cybernetically or telepathically or whatever, they were all connected to Father Thomas. Once
Right.
he fell, they all fell, and that's how it should have been outside the tomb. Because he was the whole key to to everything. And
Right.
just because it didn't make any sense at all to sit there and say, well, we need to stop Father Thomas, and then when you do, and yet here comes the apocalypse still coming at you. It's like, well, what the hell? Why did we go through all that effort if it wasn't going to work? And it didn't make any sense. I think when they stopped Father Thomas and killed off the zombies, I think that was an effective ending, and coming out of it and being happy they survived the night and saved the world, so to speak. I like that ending. I like that ending a lot. I think that works.
Mhm.
Now, whereas House by the Cemetery and The Beyond, there's without a doubt what Fulci was trying to say in those movies. The endings were they were definitely defined, and and this is exactly what he wanted to do, and this is what he did. But
Yeah.
this movie here is just like, it's the last couple of minutes. It's sort of like another movie I mention this a lot, where the ending is so out of left field. It's like, what the hell is Van Helsing? I mean, the whole movie, you see all these people do all this miraculous shit, and then at the very last minute, Hugh Jackman falls on Kate Beckinsale and kills her, and it's like, wait a minute, what? It's like, wait a minute, that's sloppy, that's lazy.
Hmm.
You that's the best you could do. I mean,
Well, I
and
mean,
you sort of got that feeling here with the ending of but like I said, I think some of the film that they shot, I think it was destroyed, so they had to go with what they had.
you know, the more I think about it, the more I kind of like the way it ends in the movie, because it opens up questions, and it like, what did she see? And since she is a psychic medium,
Wouldn't she have seen that coming?
not necessarily, not necessarily, but
I'm surprised, because Peter didn't see, he saw himself saving some woman from being buried alive, but he didn't see himself losing his brains. You
yeah,
know, I would have liked to have rather known that than save the lady in the coffin. It's like, okay, I'm saving her, but I'm not seeing what's happening to me. If I had to choose, I'd rather like to see what happened to me, so I could avoid that. Like, yeah, if you save the lady in the coffin, you're gonna die. But if you don't, you're gonna live. I mean, well, shit, think of the quandaries there.
yeah, yeah, very very true, very true. The Because the way I see it is that she's not seeing John. She's seeing something else. So what's
Yeah,
coming
I
out of
mean,
it?
yeah, I definitely think that's the case. Like, whether beyond, maybe she's seeing beyond the cops and John. But again, it goes back to, like, okay, how is it they were able to kill every single zombie in the church or in the graveyard by taking care of Father Thomas? They killed Father Thomas. Everything else there was destroyed. So what would be the reason why there's still zombies coming if everything was going through that gate, that particular gate? Is everything was going through Father Thomas, whether
Right.
he lived or he died. You know what I'm saying? It didn't make any sense for them to have. It didn't make any sense for them to have a downer ending. Because they killed Father Thomas. They did destroy him. Now,
Or did they?
that's the thing that got me. It's like, okay, they did what they needed to do. You know, sometimes directors try to do this, especially a lot of independent directors, especially now more than ever, is they always want to keep their stories open for sequels. And I really dislike that a lot of the times is for one, because
Yeah,
it's almost like a straight out cash grab. Okay, like, oh yeah, we're gonna try to make more money. It's like,
true.
listen, if you write a good story, a story with a beginning, a middle, and the end, fans are okay with that. You know, there doesn't have to be a sequel every single damn time.
No,
It doesn't have to. You don't have to have that. Yeah, but no, that's the beauty of it. That's what some of the best movies. If you think about it, and I'll tell you who's really good at this, real good at ending the movie without with like, okay, here's where it ends, is Spielberg. I mean, if you look at the movies that Spielberg does, his horror movies, he did Jaws, which had a defined ending,
yeah,
and he did Duel, which also had a defined ending.
yeah, yeah.
Those movies are absolutely perfect, perfect. You don't need to have, yeah, but there could be something else out there. No, there's not. We don't need to see that. You
Yeah.
know, like, and that's part of the problem with franchises, is that franchises always seem to have to carry on. They have to, okay, there's going to be another. There has to be another movie. No, why? If they
Well,
would have did the first two Halloweens as the way they did the first two Halloween movies, would have been perfect. If they would have ended like Friday the 13th after the fourth one, perfect. You know, if they would have ended that, perfect. Um, you know, Pumpkinhead didn't need sequels. No, it didn't. No, the ending was it was very well defined. That they told the story. Um, so sometimes I think directors, they they feel like, well, yeah, well, people like this movie, we'll leave room for another movie. And it's like, it's always in the last 5 minutes, always the last 3 minutes, and it takes away all the suspense of what you just watched.
mm,
You like to have an idea, like, if unless it's defined, unless going into it, that this is not going to be a clean cut story like it. Anybody who watched the first part of it knew that there was going to be a second part. We all knew, so we expected that ending to be what it was. That's fine. That's what it's supposed to be. But a movie like this, end it. The Beyond.
well,
House by the Cemetery.
he tried to end it.
Um, yeah, but he tried to end it by leaving the door open. You know,
Yeah,
I mean,
but like you said, it had a happy ending originally,
I think so too. I think it would have been fine. I like that.
and you know,
But
so
that freeze frame and trying to superimpose, like, okay, but but that superimpose that scream and then make the screen fracture, like, yeah, that sort of. I mean, if he tried to force a bad ending or a potential continuing of the story where he didn't need to, he made a fine movie as it was. Just let it alone.
yeah, yeah, I can see that. But I mean, overall though, this movie is a hell of a good time.
Oh, definitely.
I
Yeah,
love this movie. It's a banger. It really is. Um, if you've not seen it, I highly recommend it. It is on Tubi for free. You can watch it. It's easily available.
that's right. And let's see, The Beyond is also on Tubi. That's what we'll be watching next week on my channel.
Yes.
So we're going to be on my channel next
Finally going
week.
back to the Cheetahs channel.
Finally going back to the Cheetahs channel. And we'll be joined by special guest host, our fellow ISC Midnight. Um, uh, Mary Wilson will be joining with us next week. And we'll be talking about The Beyond.
It
The
is not an
Beyond,
IFC film though.
huh?
It is not
Uh,
an IFC film.
Not an ISC film, but Mary will be coming in and talking about that film with us. Beyond, The Beyond, man, that's my favorite Fulci film.
Beyond.
Beyond is my favorite one. That
and,
that movie is a talk about a banger. That movie is a trip.
and the Beyond was filmed not far from where I live.
That's right. Not
Most of
far
it, at least.
beyond where you lived at.
Yep.
Okay.
The Beyond, yes.
I didn't know you guys had tarantulas.
Oh yeah. Oh,
Oh shit.
yeah.
Man, New Orleans is crazy.
we're cuckoo down here, man. We're cuckoo.
We recommend the whole trilogy.
We
Um,
do.
yeah,
I
Gates
like
of
all three
Hell,
of them. Yep.
the Gates of Hell, the Beyond, and House by the Cemetery. Highly recommend them all. There's several different releases that have gone on. There's been some basic releases. There's also a lot of boutique labels have put it out, like Arrow and whatnot, Blue Underground. So I mean,
Let's see.
it's
My Beyond is Grindhouse released that one.
okay, Grindhouse release. So they're out there. I mean, you can go to Amazon or eBay and type it in, and you'll be able to find it within your budget, of course. Um, the House by the Cemetery, it's airing on YouTube. In case you want to watch
Yes,
that,
it's
and
currently on YouTube. Um,
so yeah, we're gonna be watching House by the Cemetery. That will be on Al's channel. Boy, back to Al's channel. Um, and then oh, I guess since we're talking about the channel, and then on September 4th, we're going to be joined by our good friend Ben. See, in the ISC Midnight, we're going to be joined by Ben, Cadaver Club, Monty G, the Horror Miser Monty G, and Ken from Mid Level Media. They're going to be joining me, and hopefully with another special guest I'm trying to line up. And we will be talking about X, the A24 film X. We'll be talking about that on the 4th of September. And then next week we will announce what we'll be doing after that, because I can't wait to announce that.
yep.
That's gonna be, yeah, we're gonna surprise you guys with our announcement next week.
Oh, and I did promise you a funny story from the set.
Oh yes, oh yes.
So
I know the story. Tell it. This is hilarious.
all right. So Christopher George and Lucio Fulci did not get along. Okay, they kind of didn't like each other. But Fulci always carried this bag with him, full of his like tobacco and his pipe and stuff, because he always smoked. And one day for a prank, Christopher George took a bunch of the maggots that were in that lovely scene and put them in Fulci's bag to get back at him.
So he put the maggots in his smoking tobacco and his pipe.
Yeah.
Somehow, I'm wondering if Christopher George was actually supposed to survive this movie, but after Fulci saw what he did, so says, you know what? Let me go back and do a quick rewrite. Oh, by the way, Chris, yeah, you're getting your brain squeezed out by Sandra. We're gonna make Jerry the hero. Yeah. Hi, Betty. How are you?
But yeah, this movie really has everything. It has the coffin scene, the maggot scene, the head squeezing scenes, the gut puking scene, the bloody tears, the drill scene, and the underground tomb scene. What more can you ask for?
What about the hot babe?
And yeah, it has that too. Okay. So this movie really has everything.
And I thought Catriona Maccoll did a nice job. I thought she also made I really thought she made a very good final girl.
Yeah, whenever she pops up in anything, I'm always like, oh, okay, because it always makes me pay attention more.
This is the only movies I've ever seen her act in. I have never seen her do anything else other than the Beyond and the Gates of Hell.
She's done a couple more. She's done a couple period pieces and whatnot too. So she's around. Yeah.
Yeah, I've never seen her do anything else. And like I said, she's an English actress, and I watch a lot of English cinema and series and whatnot. But I've never seen her do anything other than the Italian movies.
Yeah. I don't know. She's always good. But yeah, the dead shall rise and walk the earth. So yeah.
That's right. Look at wow. I'm
Here you go,
glad
Bones.
I'm
Bones,
glad
there
you
you
showed that. I'm glad you showed that to us.
go. So yeah. And well the yeah. So you're still taking a break the rest of the month, right? Except for Sundays.
Yeah, I was gonna ask you, what are you doing on your channel this week, sir? I thought you were supposed to be taking it off this month too, but lo and behold, I looked up and I saw you doing Breaking Tube, Electric Boogaloo.
I did on Friday afternoon. I was a guest on the Video Tasties channel, and we watched Breaking Two Electric Boogaloo.
And how was that?
It was a good time. Gareth and I both busted out our dance moves. So yeah, if you want to see that, go over to his channel and check it out. We were rocking and popping and locking. And, yeah, it
I'm
was
glad you're not making me call you Shabadoo Al,
Boogaloo Al. There you go.
Boogaloo Shrimp.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, and what are you doing this week? You doing anything for Tuesday Tuesday?
I am. I'm actually doing a video on the silent movies that are on Tubi right now. So check it out. I talk about a whole bunch of different Tubi movies. I mean, a bunch of silent movies that are currently available on Tubi, and I tell you a little bit about each one too. So it's gonna be a nice little video.
There is some community news I'd like to share. It seems like Frenzy and Eric, hey internet, it's Eric here. It seems that they, through popular demand, has decided to resurrect Two Bearded Losers, and they're going to be coming back. I'm not sure if they're coming back underneath that title or not, but I do know that they're going to be coming back and talking about movies again. Um, I made a couple suggestions. I got told to go away by Eric. I have no idea why. I mean, uh, but they'll be coming back up, and I can't wait for that. Um, I will also make a mention of that I did go up on a live stream this week.
Oh yeah.
I did go up for like 20 minutes. I went on Garrett's page on his channel.
Okay.
He was interviewing famed 90s action star Matthias Hughes. And man, Matthias Hughes was 90s. When you think about 90s movies, I mean, you have to think about Matthias Hughes. He played a great villain,
Oh
huge
yeah.
dude, German, huge dude. He was a badass. And he came on and he talked with Gareth. Excellent interview, by the way. Excellent
Hmm.
interview.
Yes. Yes. Definitely.
Really,
Definitely
really,
check that out too.
really enjoyed that. Really enjoyed that. And yeah, Garrett's been crushing it.
Yes.
He
Yes.
got Furstenberg from American Ninja, and then he bounced back and he got Matthias Hughes.
Yeah.
He's been rocking. His channel's been really rocking hard.
Indeed.
Um, we'll put a link to that. We'll put a link to the. Can you put the link to? Well, you put the link to that interview
Yeah, I will.
and yeah, because that's something you guys should check out. And then we'll also put Al's gonna put the link to his show with a video tasties on his channel as well. I'm gonna have to go over there and watch the replay of that.
Yeah, it was
As far as my
it was really fun, and yeah, I love that movie because it's so super cheesy and insane.
oh man,
Yeah.
Canon films, man, Canon films are just so much fun.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
I mean, we're going to be covering. I'm not sure when. We have our schedule. Our schedule suddenly went from like, so what do you want to do this week? Because they'd be like, I don't know. But now our list is like, dude, we need to do 2 days a week now because we got so much content planned.
Mhm.
Um, but we will be covering sometime. I don't know when, but we will be covering Invasion USA. That's all I can say. We got to cover that movie.
Well, Christmas time is coming up, and that
That's right. I
that is
can't.
technically a Christmas movie.
You know what? I'm more about that movie than I am Die Hard this year. What do you think?
Yeah, I'm down. I'm definitely down. Definitely
Um,
great movie.
Yeah, see, Al, you should not have let Patrick come on. He's supposed to be on vacation.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is my only vacation. This is the only time I'm on. I'm doing the Midnight Society, and then I'm doing the ISC show, Werewolves Within, and that'll be on the 28th on David's Horror channel. We'll be putting that up soon enough. Again, next week we'll be back for our second movie of Fulci's trilogy. Back on my channel, we'll be talking about The Beyond.
And beyond. And also next Sunday, catch me at 3 p.m. I'm gonna have a watch along with Jim's Retro Emporium and Radical Retro Rewind.
Oh yeah, what are you guys watching?
We're gonna be watching the what is it called? It's like the Beast and the Bikini Girl. No, the Monster and the Bikini Girls.
That sounds like total 50s fun.
Yeah. So that should be a blast. I'm
All
looking
right.
forward to that too.
What time would that be?
That's gonna be 3 p.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. Central.
All right. That's a public domain movie, right? So we'll be able to all watch it with you.
Yes, you're gonna be watching it with us. It's gonna be on the screen, so you'll be able to watch along with us.
That's right. Wow. That's all I got.
Yep, that's all I got too. So I guess we will see all you guys later. Thanks for stopping in. Really appreciate it.
Yes, thank you so much. You guys in the chat, you guys are all
rock stars.
Yeah, rock stars for sure.
Heck yeah. All right, guys. So we're gonna get out of here. Remember to stay spooky. Peace out.